Hello, friends. Now you will hear a brief summary of the movie Sin Nombre. Enjoy watching. Casper is a member of the MS-13 gang. He lives in the small Mexican town of Tapachula, located on the border with Guatemala, and intends to recruit a 12-year-old boy named Benito. His grandmother does her best to protect her grandson from gang life, but the child still ends up before the leader of the local MS-13 branch. As is usually the case, he must undergo initiation by being brutally beaten by other members of MS-13. The beating continues until Lil Mago counts to 13. The battered boy starts smiling, earning him the nickname Smiley. A Honduran girl named Sarah wants to leave her hometown and, along with her uncle and father, whom she hasn't seen in years, reach the United States. A flower seller scolds Casper for dragging his young friend into trouble. After buying a small bouquet, the young man sneaks into the room of his girlfriend, Martha. A younger gang member spies on them. Martha is unhappy. Casper never takes her anywhere, and they only meet at her house. Casper asks the boy not to tell anyone where they were today. Lil Mago must not find out. The teenagers arrive at the gang's hideout. The newcomer must get used to the place and meet other gang members. One of the houses is filled with weapons, but first, he must earn the right to use them. Lil Mago comes out holding a baby and leads his subordinates to a cage. Inside is a young man who attempted to flee from a rival gang. He was caught trying to escape town by train, and now the gang promises to cut him into 18 pieces. Benito is handed a homemade gun and ordered to execute the prisoner. As promised, the poor guy is butchered and fed to the dogs. Lil Mago tells the boy that he now has 1,000 brothers, and no matter where he goes, there will always be someone to protect him. However, he has complaints about Casper. The young man was supposed to be on duty near the railroad, but the gang members didn't see him there. Casper, however, denies leaving his post. Meanwhile, Sarah's family finally reaches the Mexico-Guatemala border after a grueling 3-day journey. The border guards gather all the migrants in a small room, force them to strip, and empty their pockets. Sarah's family is allowed to continue and finds themselves at the train station in Tapachula. They take a break in one of the train cars. While her uncle goes to buy some water, her father informs Sarah that reaching the US border will take at least 2 more weeks. Less than half of all migrants survive such a journey. We learn that Sarah's father has another family and wants to reunite with them after being deported back to Honduras. Sarah is grateful that he took her with him. Casper meets with Martha again. He dreams that one day they will leave together for Texas. Martha, however, is jealous of Casper. She feels like he's hiding her from everyone just so he can have fun with other girls. And then she runs into Sol, the second in command of the gang after Lil Mago. Casper lies, saying that Martha is just a friend. This only makes her even more upset. At the train station, the long-awaited train arrives for the migrants. It's already overcrowded, with stowaways sitting right on the roofs. Despite this, Sarah and her family climb aboard, only to receive terrible news. A different train has derailed, causing many casualties. Because of this, they won't be leaving today. The migrants spend the night right on the ground, waiting for the next train. Lil Mago gathers the gang at the cemetery. He wants to punish Casper and Benito for lying to him. They had left their post and failed to spot a rival gang member. Now, he demands to know where they really went, but Casper won't confess. As punishment, Sol takes away his gun. Benito also stays silent. At the worst possible moment, Martha arrives at the cemetery. She wants everyone to know that she's dating Casper. Lil Mago immediately approaches her and forbids Casper from walking her home. He'll do it himself. As for Casper, he must endure 13 seconds of beating for his lie. Benito will also have to survive the same brutal punishment. Lil Mago doesn't go far. He realizes that Casper lied to him because of this girl. He orders Martha to sit next to him and starts harassing her. She quickly understands that she's in danger, but it's too late. Martha tries to resist and escape, but Lil Mago kicks her, causing her to hit her head on a stone slab. She's dead. The gang leader calmly walks past Casper and informs him that Martha is gone. "You'll find another one," he says. Then he warns Casper, if he ever lies again, he'll kill him with his own hands. The migrants finally catch the next train. They climb onto the freight cars, and the train sets off. But Lil Mago and his young gang members are also here. They board one of the cars. A heavy rain begins during the day. While the migrants try to shield themselves from the downpour, the gang prepares to rob them of their last possessions. Benito is given a homemade gun, while Casper is handed a machete. Lil Mago points his pistol at the helpless people and demands all their money. They rob Sarah's family as well. The gang leader then attacks Sarah, pinning her down. Perhaps, at that moment, Casper sees Martha in her place, because as the train moves, he suddenly swings his machete, slashing Lil Mago's neck. The gang leader quickly bleeds out, and Casper throws his body off the train. He then forces Benito to jump off, giving the boy a chance to return home. The migrants still see Casper as a dangerous gang member and plan to throw him off the train. He doesn't sleep all night and begins to drift off. A few men approach him with machetes and stones, ready to strike, but Sarah screams, stopping them and saving the life of the boy who just saved her. Meanwhile, the gang mourns Lil Mago, a loving father and a great man, in their eyes. The gang members throw up their hand signs and shed a few bitter tears. The young one has to take the fall for the boss's murder. How did he not have a bullet to take down the traitor? Sol threatens to kick Benito out of the gang. To prove his loyalty, the boy asks to be sent after Casper to kill him. Sol hands Benito a loaded gun and sends him on the hunt, but if he fails, he better not come back. During the next stop, the migrants gather water from a filthy stream. Casper receives a threatening text from Sol. Sarah approaches him, introduces herself, and gives him some food. Meanwhile, a now hardened Benito brags to his peers about his gun and his mission to kill his friend. Kill him, but be careful, the younger gang members advise him. Casper finally decides to get some sleep. To keep from falling off the train, he ties himself to the freight car. In the morning, he throws away his phone. The train reaches its final stop. At the station, the migrants clean themselves up, the women prepare food, and the men line up to call their families. Sarah visits Casper, who is hiding in a small shed. He has no idea what to do next. She promises to bring him food. But her father warns her to stay away from the gang member. They still have a long journey ahead, and nothing should slow them down. Benito arrives in a town and immediately finds his gang brothers. They already know what happened in Tapachula and offer the young recruit food and a place to sleep. Sarah suggests that Casper come with them to New Jersey, but the young man worries that the gang will eventually find him. And he's right. MS-13 members are prowling the station, asking locals if they've seen a guy with a teardrop tattoo. A homeless man points them in the direction Casper went. Casper grows closer to Sarah and begins traveling with her family. Kind strangers toss fruits to the migrants. At one of the stations, Casper advises everyone to get off. Immigration police are in full force here. The migrants follow his warning and run alongside the train. At that moment, the gang arrives. Seeing them, Casper flees and hides in a train depot. But things take an unexpected turn. The gang leader and Benito wander into rival territory and are suddenly caught in a firefight. One of the MS-13 members nearly finds Casper but gets distracted by the gunfire. The leader barely escapes, but his own crew refuses to help him. They lose track of Casper. Casper makes it back onto the train. Sarah's family fully accepts him, but not wanting to bring them trouble, he jumps off the train while they're asleep. That's when he sees Sarah following him. It's too late to turn back, the train is already gone. Casper wonders why she did it. He's as good as dead anyway, and now she's in danger too. Meanwhile, Sarah's family wakes up and realizes she's gone. In the nearby town, Casper knows of a woman who might help, his old gang associate, Aunt Tanya. Tanya is surprised to hear that Casper wants to help the girl without expecting anything in return. She also warns him that his future looks grim. MS-13 members have already come looking for him. Casper hopes Tanya won't betray him. Sarah's uncle, who raised her through childhood, wants to wait for her at the station, but his brother convinces him that they must keep moving. Otherwise, they won't make it. Tanya helps the young pair travel north. The gang has already left graffiti messages on the walls, declaring that Casper won't escape his punishment. As he and Sarah climb onto a car carrier truck, Tanya calls Sol. To show the girl how dangerous it is to be around him, Casper reveals his scars, from police shootouts and brutal beatings by gang members. He tells her that his love was murdered not long ago, and now he could destroy her life too. Closer to the US border, schoolchildren throw stones at the Honduran migrants, demanding that they go home. Again and again, Casper replays a video of Martha on his digital camera. In a moment of anger, he digs into his teardrop tattoo, trying to erase it. At a checkpoint, soldiers inspect the car carrier but fail to find the hidden migrants. Meanwhile, Sarah's family is caught by immigration police. Her father tries to run but falls between the train cars and is crushed under the wheels. Tanya betrays Casper, so a group of gang members is already waiting for him at a landfill. But he gets lucky. He and Sarah jump off the truck early to reach a migrant shelter, where they finally get a chance to wash up. At the shelter, a man pulls Casper aside, telling him that people like him are not welcome there. A fight breaks out. One of the Honduran migrants, who had traveled with his family, drags Casper away from the brawl. He tells Sarah that her uncle has been deported and that her father is dead. Overwhelmed with grief, the girl bursts into tears and runs away. 3 days later, the pair continues their journey. Casper starts to believe they have a chance and agrees to go with Sarah to New Jersey. They find a man who smuggles migrants across the river, but he can only take one person at a time. Casper pays him with his camera, allowing Sarah to go first. As she reaches the middle of the river, gang members suddenly emerge from the bushes and open fire on Casper. He tries to escape but runs straight into his old friend, Benito. The boy points a gun at him and, saying, "The gang is forever," coldly shoots Casper dead. The rest of the MS-13 members surround the body and unleash a hail of bullets. Sarah watches in horror as her friend is executed. Somehow, she manages to reach the other shore, while the gang members leave the scene after completing their brutal task. Her uncle still hasn't given up on reaching the US. This time, he plans to cross on a raft. Benito, now a full-fledged member of MS-13, gets his gang tattoo. As for Sarah, now in America, she approaches the nearest payphone and calls her father's second wife, hoping she will help her. And that's where the movie ends. Thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you soon, goodbye.